Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be looking at something slightly different to normal. So usually very much all about Canon, and today we're looking at Nikon lenses and compatibility to a mirrorless camera. So the example I've got here is a very old, this is like a 15-year-old Sigma 70-200 non-IS with the adapter and an R3. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to connect the systems together. I'm also going to show you some imagery that I've taken using this setup, and then I'll go through an overview of my thoughts and how well it works afterwards. So first of all, let's get into that first video where we go through how they all connect together, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here we have your three main ingredients that you'll need to make this work. So for my example here, I've got my R3, I've got the Sigma 70-200, and I've got the main piece of kit that you're going to need, which is the EF to RF adapter. Now these are, for what they are, they're quite expensive. I think they are literally just a tube which allows you to adapt one mount to another. You can get them second hand, they're a little bit cheaper second hand, about £20–30 cheaper. And there's nothing really can go wrong with them. They can't really get majorly damaged. They've literally got your contact points here on the top. They've got some anti-glare in the middle, and then contact points at the back. It literally just is as simple as that. So most of mine are second hand, just because at the time when I was buying them last time, there weren't actually that many available brand new. So all you need to do is pop that on there, onto your mirrorless camera. So for me it's the R3 here. And then, as you would normally, you line up your white dot on your Sigma lens to the red dot on the Canon adapter, bosh, and then pop it on, and you can see straight away lens connected. As soon as I do that, you can see the autofocus is there. So super simple, super easy, nothing technical there at all, really. So the first image we look at here is of a cheetah walking across frame. As you can see, eye tracking working as it should do, nice and absolutely pin sharp on the eyes, tongue there nicely in focus as well. This was shot at 2.8 because how sort of far away the cheetah was. Everything's really in focus here as far as the cat's concerned. But you've got really nice bokeh at the back there, nice bokeh balls with the flowers in the background, and a little bit of a unfocusedness at the front there as well. But the cat itself super nicely in focus and a really nice image. Next one here is of a sea lion. This one was more to get a bit of motion, just show you sort of what that looks like. As you can see, the ball is out of focus because it's kind of moving towards the sea lion, but the sea lion itself is nicely in focus and nicely sort of there. If I used a slightly higher shutter speed, then the ball would be in focus and sharp too. But I wanted to get that little bit of motion so you can see the ball is moving. So a little bit of blur there, but a very usable, very nice, very sharp image. And the final image here is of a red panda in the light here. Again, eye tracking working as it should do. I've shot through some foliage a little bit here, so that's where you've got the greenery underneath moving into the image a little bit there. Nothing to do about that with the position of where the red panda is, but I think it does almost create a sense of depth to the image. But you've got the sun sort of glaring over from the left hand side. This is really early in the morning, so it's almost like a yellow hue onto there, which is why the panda's face is a little bit more yellowy orange rather than the darker oranges on the back. But again, super sharp image. Because of shooting, I think I was shooting about 5.6 on this, so it was harder to miss the eye anyway. But this would be an image that if I was shooting at 2.8, you're likely to have not got the eye potentially, and actually got the autofocus around the outside of the eye a little bit more than in the eye. But the way I've shot it, it makes it work well enough in my opinion. So as I said at the start, this is a very old lens and a very new camera, and considering the age of this lens with the camera, the communication is actually quite good. When you turn them on, you get quite a quick sort of reaction through there. I've also tested this setup with the 150-600, which is a more commonly used lens that most people will have from their DSLR and then move across to a mirrorless camera. And I have the same sort of thoughts combined from the 70-200 and that lens, so I've kind of stuck with this one just for this video. But what you'll find is, even compared to a converted Canon lens, the autofocus, even though it's quick when you've kind of just got it set here like this and it will find what you're looking for, when you've got a moving subject you'll notice the autofocus a little bit slower. And what you also find is, even though if you like using IAF for example, you'll track that eye on the screen, but when you go back into post you might not necessarily have the eye in focus, if that makes sense. It'll be slightly to the left, slightly to the right, or anywhere around that zone. It's not exactly like if you're shooting with a Canon lens, you can kind of trust the autofocus a little bit more, that it's going to be exactly on that eye. Even on an older, like I've got the Mark 1 70-200 IS and use it all the time with the R3, and I can always trust it's going to be accurately on the eye if it's going to say it's on the eye. Even with this lens and that lens, this is slightly slower autofocusing. It is noticeable. What I do want to do at some point is get an RF actual native lens, and I can then start testing a little bit further along there as well, because all I've got at the moment is the convertible lenses into using the mounts here. But the image quality itself you can get is still very good, as long as the lens is being looked after and it's got no real marks on the elements and it's been well maintained. You're still going to get an absolutely amazing image. You've just got to be very careful that if you're taking photos of, say, birds in flight or something fast moving, so you go to your local zoo a lot and you want to take some photos of some animals running or anything like that, you've got to be careful that you are going to be more limited using the Sigma lens rather than using something like a Canon or an RF native lens itself. But you are, when you get that photo and you get it in focus and it is where it needs to be, you are guaranteed you're going to get a nice crisp image, as I've shown you. Now the only thing as well to kind of think about is, it could give you an import into the mirrorless world with a little bit less money. So if you do have like the 150-600, you shouldn't be afraid to move on to mirrorless with that lens. I've got people I know who are using the R5 with that lens, and my dad was using up until very recently the 150-600 with his R6 Mark II, the R7. So they are very usable and compatible lenses. But these people, once they tried it with a Canon lens like 100-400 or any of my prime lenses, then notice a difference and see why me personally I only use Canon native lenses. So it's not something to be scared about. If you want to get a nicer body and keep your current lens, if you've got a Sigma lens, do it. You're still going to get great photos. Just think in the back of your head, you will get slightly better imagery and slightly more shots on target if you eventually upgrade further to a Canon lens as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, comment and like, and I will catch you in the next one. See you soon. Goodbye.